The pain did not begin when people rejected you. The pain began when you started realizing that your heart was carrying burdens that few people around you seemed to understand. While others moved through life surrounded by support, encouragement, and recognition, you often found yourself walking through seasons that felt heavier, longer, and more isolating. There were moments when you wondered why everything seemed harder for you. You watched other people receive opportunities while you faced delays. You watched others find acceptance while you experienced misunderstanding. You watched others celebrate victories while you quietly fought battles nobody knew existed. Over time, a question settled deep inside your soul. Why does it feel like I have to carry more pain than most people? If you have ever felt that way, you are not alone. Many people who carry a deep sense of purpose often find themselves walking through experiences that shape them in ways others may never fully understand. The truth is that some of the strongest people on earth were not created through comfort. They were formed through endurance. They were shaped by disappointment, refined through setbacks, and strengthened through seasons when it felt like nobody was coming to help them. This does not mean that pain is pleasant. It does not mean suffering should be glorified. It simply means that difficult seasons often leave behind gifts that easier seasons cannot provide. You may not have chosen every hardship that entered your life, but every hardship left something behind. It left wisdom, it left perspective, it left compassion, it left resilience. It left a quiet strength that cannot be taught in a classroom or purchased with money. One reason the chosen often seem to experience more pain is because they are deeply sensitive to life. They notice things others overlook. They feel things others ignore. They carry concerns that many people dismiss. Their hearts remain open even after disappointment. Their kindness survives even after betrayal. Their faith continues even after seasons of silence. That sensitivity can feel like a burden. It can make rejection hurt more deeply. It can make loneliness feel more intense. It can make disappointments leave deeper scars. Yet that same sensitivity is often connected to the ability to encourage others, comfort others, and understand others in profound ways. The very thing that sometimes causes pain is also the thing that allows healing to flow through them. There were nights when you carried anxiety without telling anyone. There were mornings when you smiled, despite feeling exhausted inside. There were seasons when you kept showing up even though your heart felt tired. Some people saw your strength and assumed life was easy for you. They never realized how much effort it took just to keep moving forward. They saw the calm surface but never saw the storm beneath it. They saw your endurance but never saw the tears. They saw your faith but never saw the moments when you felt discouraged. God saw those moments. God saw the prayers you whispered when nobody else was listening. God saw the disappointment you carried without complaint. God saw the sacrifices that went unnoticed. God saw every time you chose kindness after being hurt. God saw every moment when giving up seemed easier than continuing. Sometimes the chosen experience more pain because they refuse to become bitter. Many people protect themselves by hardening their hearts. They stop trusting, they stop caring, they stop hoping. But there are people who continue choosing love even after heartbreak. They continue choosing faith after disappointment. They continue choosing compassion after betrayal. That path often hurts more in the short term, but it preserves something precious inside them. It preserves their humanity. It preserves their ability to connect deeply with others. It preserves the light that difficult experiences tried to extinguish. You may have noticed that your greatest struggles often happened in silence. Some of your hardest battles were invisible. Nobody applauded when you overcame them. Nobody handed you a trophy for surviving them. Nobody gathered to celebrate the days when you simply found enough strength to keep going. Yet those silent victories matter. In many ways, they are the victories that reveal who you truly are. Some of your greatest victories happened in silence when nobody was watching. Some of the strongest parts of your character were built during seasons that nobody else understood. Every difficult chapter left evidence of your courage. Every setback revealed another layer of resilience. Every disappointment showed that there was something within you stronger than the circumstances around you. There is a reason many people feel deeply connected to stories of perseverance. Human beings recognize strength when they see it. They recognize endurance when they encounter it. They recognize hope that survives adversity. What makes your story meaningful is not the absence of pain. It is the fact that pain did not have the final word. The fact that you are still standing says more about your strength than you realize. You survived moments that once seemed impossible. You carried burdens that few people ever noticed. Your kindness cost you more than most people will ever understand. Yet here you are, still moving forward, still hoping, still believing that life can hold meaning beyond the hardships you endured. Another reason the chosen often experience more pain is because growth frequently requires letting go. As people mature, they sometimes outgrow environments, habits, relationships, and expectations that once felt familiar. That process can feel like loss. It can feel lonely. It can feel confusing. Yet every season of growth asks for something. Growth asks for trust. Growth asks for patience. Growth asks for perseverance. The chosen often find themselves changing, while the people around them remain the same. That difference can create distance, it can create misunderstandings, it can create loneliness, but it can also create wisdom. It can create clarity. It can create a deeper understanding of what truly matters. Perhaps one of the most painful experiences is feeling unseen. Many people know the feeling of giving their best while receiving little recognition. They know what it feels like to love deeply while feeling overlooked. They know what it feels like to show up for others while wondering who would show up for them. If that describes part of your journey, remember this. Your value was never determined by how many people noticed you. Your worth was never dependent upon applause. Your significance was never defined by public recognition. There is something deeply valuable within you, even if others failed to recognize it. A diamond remains valuable even before anyone discovers it. A seed contains potential long before anyone sees the harvest. Your life carries value regardless of whether others understand it. The pain you experienced may have convinced you that you were forgotten. It may have convinced you that your efforts were meaningless. It may have convinced you that your story would never change. But difficult seasons do not define destiny. They shape character. They strengthen faith. They reveal endurance. They prepare hearts for future chapters. Not every battle you fought was in vain. Not every tear was wasted. Not every disappointment was meaningless. The seasons that tested you were also shaping who you were becoming. Even now, there may be healing taking place that you cannot fully see. Even now, there may be strength developing beneath the surface. Even now, there may be blessings forming in ways you do not yet understand. Hope is not pretending that pain never happened. Hope is believing that pain does not get the final word. Hope is trusting that what hurt you will not permanently define you. Hope is choosing to believe that there is still purpose ahead. The chosen are not valuable because they suffered. They are valuable because they continued to love, believe, endure, and grow despite suffering. Their greatness is not found in their wounds. It is found in the courage that carried them through those wounds. Their strength is not found in the hardships themselves. It is found in the resilience developed while walking through them. Your story has value, even if it did not unfold the way you expected. Your journey matters, even if it took longer than you hoped. Your faith matters, even if it was tested repeatedly. God has not forgotten you. The tears you cried in private were seen. The prayers you whispered were heard. The burdens you carried were noticed. The strength that kept you moving forward was never meaningless. There is a strength within you that kept moving forward, even on your darkest days. There is a quiet resilience within you that many people will never fully understand. There is a purpose within you that hardship could not destroy, and there is still hope ahead because your most painful chapters were never meant to become the entire story of your life. If this message helped you feel seen and reminded you that your struggles did not erase your value, subscribe to the channel and continue walking alongside a community focused on faith, healing, purpose, and encouragement. You do not have to carry every burden alone, and sometimes the right message arrives exactly when the heart needs it most. There comes a moment in the life of many chosen people when they stop asking why the pain happened and begin asking what the pain produced. That shift does not happen quickly. It usually comes after years of carrying burdens that felt unfair. It comes after enough disappointments to make a person question their direction. It comes after enough lonely nights to make them wonder whether anyone truly understands what they have endured. Yet eventually something begins to change. The wounds that once seemed to exist only to hurt begin revealing the lessons they carried. The storms that once appeared meaningless begin showing evidence of the strength they created. The seasons that felt empty begin revealing how much growth was quietly taking place beneath the surface. Many chosen people spend years feeling as though life has demanded more from them than it demanded from everyone else. They look around and see people moving forward while they seem stuck. They see others receiving support while they face resistance. They see people celebrated for achievements while their own efforts remain unnoticed. Over time, that comparison can become exhausting. It can make a person feel forgotten. It can make them feel overlooked. It can make them wonder whether their sacrifices were worth it. Yet comparison rarely tells the full story. Every person carries struggles that others cannot see, but there are some individuals whose lives seem designed to develop uncommon levels of resilience. Not because they are being punished, not because they are less loved, but because they are becoming capable of carrying responsibilities, wisdom, and influence that require unusual strength of character. Think about the person you were 10 years ago. Think about how you responded to disappointment then compared to now. Think about the situations that once broke your heart completely. Think about the obstacles that once felt impossible to overcome. You may still carry scars from those experiences, but you also carry something else. You carry perspective. You carry understanding. You carry endurance. You carry lessons that could only be learned by living through real challenges. Many of the qualities people admire most are developed through adversity. Patience grows during waiting seasons. Compassion grows through personal suffering. Wisdom grows through mistakes and disappointments. Courage grows when fear is present, but a person keeps moving forward anyway. The chosen often experience pain because they are being shaped into people who can offer more than simple advice. They become people who can offer understanding. When someone comes to them broken, they know what brokenness feels like. When someone feels abandoned, they understand loneliness. When someone feels discouraged, they know what it means to keep walking despite discouragement. Their words carry weight because they were earned through experience. Their encouragement feels genuine because it comes from places they have personally traveled. One of the hidden burdens of being chosen is that people often underestimate how much you are carrying. Because you continue functioning, others assume you are fine. Because you keep showing kindness, others assume nothing hurts. Because you remain dependable, others assume you never struggle. Yet some of the strongest people are carrying invisible battles every day. Some of the kindest people are fighting silent wars within their hearts. Some of the most encouraging people are desperately needing encouragement themselves. You may have spent years being the one others leaned on, while rarely having someone to lean on yourself. You may have become so accustomed to carrying weight that asking for help feels unfamiliar. You may have learned to survive alone, not because you wanted to, but because circumstances required it. If that describes part of your story, know that your endurance is remarkable. The fact that you kept going does not mean the journey was easy. It means there was something powerful inside you that refused to surrender. Sometimes pain teaches lessons that comfort never could. Comfort can be pleasant, but struggle often reveals what truly matters. It reveals who remains loyal during difficult times. It reveals which values are worth holding on to. It reveals what kind of person you want to become. There are people who entered painful seasons feeling uncertain about themselves and emerged with a deeper understanding of their identity. There are people who lost things they thought they could never live without and discovered strengths they never knew they possessed. There are people who faced rejection and eventually realized that rejection redirected them toward places they were meant to be. This does not mean every painful experience immediately makes sense. Some losses remain difficult. Some disappointments continue hurting long after they occur. Some questions remain unanswered. Faith does not require pretending everything feels good. Faith means trusting that meaning can still exist even when complete understanding is unavailable. Faith means believing that God can work through circumstances that seem confusing. Faith means refusing to let temporary darkness convince you that light no longer exists. Many chosen people carry a deep weariness that comes from years of being strong. Not physical exhaustion alone, but emotional exhaustion. The kind that develops after repeatedly getting back up. the kind that develops after repeatedly choosing hope, the kind that develops after repeatedly rebuilding when things fall apart. If you have ever felt tired in that way, it does not mean you are weak, it means you are human. Strength is not the absence of fatigue. Strength is continuing despite fatigue. Strength is maintaining kindness despite disappointment. Strength is holding on to hope despite delays. Strength is choosing faith despite uncertainty. There is a difference between pain that destroys and pain that develops. The pain that destroys convinces a person they have no future. The pain that develops challenges them while quietly building new capacities within them. Looking back, many people realize that the experiences they wanted to escape were the same experiences that prepared them for future opportunities. The heartbreak taught discernment. The waiting taught patience. The failure taught humility. The loneliness taught self-awareness. The struggle taught perseverance. The difficulty taught gratitude. The chosen often discover that their hardest seasons contained lessons they would later need. Another reason pain feels heavier for some people is because they care deeply. Caring deeply is both a gift and a challenge. It means relationships matter. It means words matter. It means loyalty matters. It means purpose matters. A caring heart experiences life intensely. It celebrates deeply, but it can also hurt deeply. Yet the answer is not to stop caring. The answer is learning how to protect your peace without losing your compassion. The world needs people whose hearts remain open. The world needs people who still believe in kindness. The world needs people who continue offering encouragement even after facing disappointment themselves. One of the greatest misconceptions about strong people is that they never struggle emotionally. The reality is often the opposite. Strong people feel deeply. They simply continue moving despite what they feel. They continue showing up. They continue helping others. They continue believing that tomorrow can be better than today. Some of the strongest individuals have cried in private and smiled in public on the very same day. Some have prayed through tears and still encouraged others. Some have felt completely exhausted and still chosen faith. Their strength was never the absence of pain. Their strength was their refusal to allow pain to become their identity. You are worth far more than the moments that tried to make you feel small. You are worth far more than the failures you experienced. You are worth far more than the rejection you endured. The opinions of people who misunderstood you never determined your value. The circumstances that challenged you never erased your worth. The disappointments that wounded you never changed the fact that there is something precious within you. God often works quietly, sometimes so quietly that people mistake his silence for absence. Yet silence does not mean abandonment. A seed grows underground before anyone sees evidence above the surface. Roots develop before fruit appears. Preparation often happens long before visible results arrive. Many chosen people spend years in seasons of preparation without realizing it. They assume nothing is happening because nothing dramatic is visible. Meanwhile, character is developing. Wisdom is growing. Strength is increasing. Faith is deepening. The very qualities needed for future seasons are being formed. There may be parts of your journey that still do not make complete sense. There may be losses you wish never happened. There may be chapters you would gladly erase if given the chance. Yet even within those chapters, evidence of your resilience exists. You survived days you once thought would break you. You endured seasons you never expected to endure. You carried burdens that would have caused many people to quit. The fact that you are still here matters. The fact that you still care matters. The fact that you still hope matters. The fact that you still believe matters. Every step forward, no matter how small, is evidence of a strength that pain could not destroy. Every act of kindness is evidence that hardship did not harden your heart. Every moment of faith is evidence that discouragement did not win. Your journey may have included more pain than you expected, but it also revealed more resilience than you ever imagined. If these words encouraged you and reminded you that your difficult seasons carried meaning beyond what you could see at the time, subscribe to the channel and continue receiving messages that nurture faith, strengthen hope, and support personal growth. There is comfort in knowing that others understand the journey, and there is strength in continuing it together. One day, many of the things that hurt you will no longer be the first things you remember. The disappointments that once occupied your thoughts every morning will gradually lose their grip. The rejection that once felt impossible to overcome will become part of a larger story. The loneliness that seemed endless will eventually be viewed through a different lens, not because those experiences were insignificant, but because you will finally see how much stronger you became while surviving them. This is one of the most important truths the chosen eventually discover. Pain is powerful, but it is not all-powerful. Hardship can shape a season, but it does not have the authority to define an entire life. Many people spend years believing they are falling apart, when in reality, they are being transformed. They mistake the discomfort of growth for evidence of failure. They mistake the uncertainty of transition for evidence that they are lost. They mistake temporary struggles for permanent realities. Yet life often reveals its meaning slowly. Some lessons can only be understood after enough time has passed to see the larger picture. The chosen frequently experience this. They endure seasons that make no sense in the moment, only to look back years later and realize that every challenge contributed something valuable. The betrayal taught discernment. The loneliness taught self-respect. The waiting taught patience. The loss taught gratitude. The setbacks taught perseverance. The closed doors redirected them toward opportunities they never would have pursued otherwise. What once looked like punishment eventually revealed itself as preparation. One of the greatest wounds many chosen people carry is the belief that their pain made them less valuable. After enough rejection, it becomes easy to question your worth. After enough disappointment, it becomes easy to doubt your significance. After enough seasons of being overlooked, it becomes easy to wonder whether anyone truly sees the good within you. Yet your value has never been determined by what happened to you. Your value was not reduced by the people who failed to appreciate you. Your value was not diminished by relationships that ended. Your value was not erased by mistakes you made while learning and growing. There are people who spent years believing they were not enough simply because they were treated as though they were not enough. But treatment and truth are not always the same thing. A person can be deeply valuable and still be misunderstood. A person can be gifted and still be rejected. A person can be kind and still be taken for granted. The behavior of others does not always reflect your worth. Sometimes it simply reflects their inability to recognize it. The chosen often carry gifts that are not immediately obvious. Their greatest strengths are frequently internal. They possess empathy that comforts people during difficult times. They possess resilience that inspires others without even realizing it. They possess wisdom born from experience. They possess faith that survived storms. These qualities may not always receive public recognition, but they leave lasting impacts on the lives they touch. Every encouraging word you spoke mattered. Every act of kindness mattered. Every time you chose patience instead of anger mattered. Every time you remained faithful despite uncertainty mattered. Many of your most meaningful contributions may never be fully known by you. Some seeds grow in places you never see. Some lives are changed in ways you never discover. Some acts of goodness continue creating effects long after the moment itself has passed. The chosen sometimes underestimate the impact they have because they focus on what they have lost rather than what they have given. Yet your life has value beyond what can be measured by achievements, recognition, or status. The simple fact that you continued showing compassion in a world that often rewards selfishness is meaningful. The simple fact that you continued believing in goodness despite hardship is meaningful. The simple fact that you continued moving forward after disappointment is meaningful. There is a reason your journey required endurance. Endurance develops depth. People who have never struggled can offer information, but people who have endured struggle can offer understanding. They know what fear feels like. They know what heartbreak feels like. They know what uncertainty feels like. They know what it means to keep walking when the path ahead is unclear. That understanding becomes one of the most valuable gifts they possess. It allows them to connect with others on a level that cannot be manufactured. It allows them to bring comfort because they have needed comfort themselves. It allows them to offer hope because they have searched for hope during difficult seasons. You may have spent years wondering why your road seemed harder than the roads around you. You may have wondered why certain blessings took longer to arrive. You may have wondered why life required so much patience. While no one can explain every hardship, There is something powerful about recognizing what those hardships produced. They produced a version of you that knows how to endure. They produced a version of you that appreciates simple blessings. They produced a version of you that understands the value of peace. They produced a version of you that cannot be easily shaken by temporary setbacks. There is wisdom within you today that did not exist before those difficult seasons. There is strength within you today that did not exist before those struggles. There is compassion within you today that grew from places of pain. Even the parts of you that still need healing are evidence that you continue moving forward. Healing is rarely a straight line. It unfolds gradually. Some days feel easier. Some days bring old memories. Some days reveal progress you did not realize you had made. What matters is that healing remains possible. What matters is that your story continues. What matters is that pain did not permanently stop your growth. God has a remarkable way of bringing meaning out of experiences that once appeared meaningless. Not always in dramatic ways, not always according to the timelines people expect, but often through quiet transformation, through renewed perspective, through unexpected opportunities, through relationships that arrive at the right time, through moments of peace that slowly replace old anxiety, through strength that develops so gradually that it is only recognized when looking back. You are not defined by your hardest day. You are not defined by your greatest disappointment. You are not defined by the chapter that hurt the most. You are defined by the courage that kept moving despite those experiences. You are defined by the resilience that refused to surrender. You are defined by the faith that survived uncertainty. You are defined by the kindness that remained even after being tested. There may still be challenges ahead. Life does not promise a future free from difficulty. Yet there is a difference between facing challenges as the person you once were and facing challenges as the person you have become. You carry wisdom now. You carry perspective now. You carry experience now. You carry evidence that you can survive things that once seemed impossible. Every chapter behind you proves something important. It proves that you are stronger than you realized. It proves that your spirit is more resilient than you believed. It proves that your story contains more courage than you often give yourself credit for. The chosen are not remarkable because they avoided pain. They are remarkable because pain did not extinguish their faith, their compassion, or their hope. They continued loving. They continued believing. They continued growing. They continued trusting that better days were still possible. And often, that quiet perseverance becomes one of the most powerful testimonies a person can carry. The future may not unfold exactly as you imagine, but it still contains possibilities that have not yet been revealed. It still contains moments of healing. It still contains opportunities for joy. It still contains relationships, experiences, and blessings that can bring meaning to the years ahead. The difficult seasons were real. The tears were real. The struggles were real. But they are not the entirety of your story. There is still more to be written. There is still more growth ahead. There is still more hope available than your pain ever allowed you to see. God saw the tears that nobody else noticed. God saw the prayers you thought were unheard. God saw every step you took when your heart felt tired. And the fact that you are still standing today is evidence that something stronger than your struggles has been carrying you all along. If this message brought comfort to your heart and reminded you that your journey has meaning, subscribe to the channel so you can continue receiving encouragement rooted in faith, resilience, healing, and purpose. May each message help you remember that your story matters, your strength matters, and your future still holds reasons for hope.